the most emotionally rewarding part of your job?
Well, when we get an outcome for an application and a visa is granted, for example, it's a really happy moment for my clients. It marks a really important milestone in their journey of migrating to Australia, and to be part of that journey is really a joyful moment for me.
Okay. So, how do you balance emotionally complex cases?
That's a really hard one. Because most often clients come to you with a problem, and often that brings a lot of stress and pressure in that situation, and it's my role to try and disengage my client from that pressure and stress that they are going through and try to keep them focused on the problem. So it's not just the technical side of my work that is important, but also managing clients' expectations, managing their stress, and trying to keep them focused on the problem and trying to navigate that process in order to achieve the best outcome for my client. I think it's all part of the work that I do.
Are there any cases that still keep you up at night?
All the time. I think it is what I have signed up for. I often tell my clients when they come to me and they leave their problem with me, they can go home and not worry about it because it is now my problem, and that often involves a lot of staying up at night trying to figure things out. But in most cases and at most times I do it quite happily and joyfully, but it doesn't mean to say that I also don't go through really stressful times.
How do you maintain such a high success rate consistently?
Well, I think over the years, just being able to keep my focus on my work and grow with my practice and understand what my clients' needs are, and being able to really tailor solutions to their problems, and having done that consistently over the years has enabled me to consistently achieve a very high success rate in my work. And having that God-centric model in my work is always really, really important for me. And I owe it all to the Lord.
So what trends are you currently seeing in skilled migration?
The biggest trend that I have seen over the last few years is the shift from state-driven migration to employer-driven migration. Today we see a lot more applications in the 482 186 transition pathway as well as the 186 direct entry pathway being some of the key feeders into skilled migration, whereas in the past from independent migration then to state-driven migration we did see that transition, but again now what we are seeing is it's really the employer-driven migration that is at the forefront. So what's important is your migration outcome really depends on the ability for you to be able to find work, stay in jobs, and prove your worth in a skill that you say that you have.
How do you expect Australian migration policy to evolve over the next few years?
I believe that the current trend where employee migration is given priority will continue in its current trend. I also see that a lot of industries where there are acute skill shortages will be able to negotiate more industry-based labour agreements with the department, and also the department proactively supporting more regional migration where there are gaps in skilled labour forces, and really hearing the voice of employers that are trying really hard to bring in skilled migrants to their workforces.
Are there industries or occupations that will be in higher demand?
I couldn't give you a list of occupations which are going to continue to be in demand or which are likely to be in demand, but you can look at the historic trends, and we know that a lot of trade and skilled occupations will continue, and industries like the healthcare industry, construction, engineering are going to continue to have those skilled shortages. Of course, as you know, migration policy is always shaped around the needs of the community, needs of the economy, and the Australian Bureau of Statistics, for example, plays a key role in producing that information, in getting the key information from an employer's point of view to the policy table to understand what skills, what occupations ought to be prioritized. So it is going to be a case of supply and demand, just as in the past, going into the future.
How should skilled workers now prepare for future changes?
That's a really broad question. But like I said before, if you're looking at skilled migration as a pathway to migrate to Australia, it's really important that your skills are up to date and your skills are what employers are looking for. You need to really look at this picture from an employer's point of view. And if you can really showcase your skills in a way where you can say, yep, I've got the skills to do that particular job, and you can then look at that occupation in the broader classification of occupations that are eligible for migration, we can then start pigeonholing you and working out a pathway that is going to ultimately deliver to you the migration outcome that you're looking for.
So what role does technology play in migration?
That's a really interesting question, because what we have seen is over the years how technology has really stepped in to make a lot of decisions in the decision making stage, even with migration. For example, the entire skill select model is now driven by technology. So data is transferred through that model to really work out and streamline processes. And we are also seeing the use of AI in many areas of visa processing, from our work right through to decision making, and that trend is likely to continue and grow in a very positive manner, which will of course improve efficiency and also consistency in policy making, decision making, and delivering outcomes.
So why is aged care experiencing such a severe workforce shortage in Australia?
I think the Royal Commission inquiry into the aged care sector really looked at this question and looked at it holistically to understand what's actually causing this continuous gap. And what we know is it's not just a single factor, from low wages to lack of job security. There are a number of reasons that are actually causing this problem to continue to grow. And of course, now with the introduction of the Aged Care Labour Agreement, I think we have an absolutely wonderful opportunity to address this problem holistically and create a long-term solution. So I think this is a really interesting policy change that has happened over the last 5 years, where we can see an innovative solution being introduced to a long-term problem.
How can skilled migration help address this crisis?
I think the Australian Aged Care Labour Agreement stream is going to be key in addressing the long-term shortage that is currently being predicted for the Australian aged care sector. If we are able to really use the Aged Care Labour Agreement to source highly skilled, ethical aged care workers from the region to come and fill these roles, whether it be in metropolitan areas, whether it be in regional areas, give the consistency, give the assurance to employers so that they can continue to be in this industry, because we know that a lot of aged care providers are leaving the industry, causing yet another problem, becoming yet another challenge for the industry. So I think having that faith that we can actually address this problem through this innovative solution of bringing in aged care workers from the region to Australia and creating a funnel for that, I think is going to be a long-term solution for this.
So what are the key visa pathways available for aged care workers?
Aged care workers have a few different visa pathways that are available to them. The primary channel that they can use is the 482 Labour Agreement stream. So that will give them the ability to come and work in Australia on a temporary basis. But upon completion of further eligibility criteria, they can then transition to the 186 stream and other regional visa streams. So they have several options available, and there are so many concessions that are available for aged care workers who would like to access these streams, from concession for English, even age. And from an employer's point of view, there is a wage concession that is available, so making it quite an attractive solution for both the employers as well as candidates who are interested in migrating to Australia through this pathway.
So, what advice would you give to international aged care workers wanting to work in Australia?
Australia, to start off with, is one of the greatest countries in the world. We all know that. Great place to raise a family. And if you're an aged care worker considering Australia, now is the time. With the aged care labour agreement stream being a pathway that is available to you, you can really look at building a career here in the healthcare industry, as well as a long-term migration solution. It's not just a work visa, it's not just a temporary visa, but it is a model which can really help you to achieve a migration, a permanent migration solution, a migration outcome, and then eventually become an Australian citizen and enjoy the Australian way of life.